Hello, everybody. I'm finally back with an inconsistent bookworm. Yay! Yeah, I finally have gotten around to reading a few mangas. The big thing is actually really just time. And not only that, but there's been a few mangas lately that kind of burnt me out a little. I am going to get into them here in just a bit and explain it. And that's just the big reason why I've been kind of sitting on these. I've been rereading some of the ones I've already read. In fact, recently I just pretty much reread most of My Hero Academias because I want to. And yeah, as you can see, we're here. We're going to talk about it. I can't help it. We're going to talk about My Hero Academia. Volume 9, of course, the purple one. Call it the purple one because it's not like the other one isn't purple. I think there's a magenta one at least. So stare into their lovely faces. So, to talk about My Hero Academia Volume 9 and what did I enjoy about this? What was good about it? First off, if I can be negative about this, there is a lot of good with this particular volume, but I do have to talk on one negative. This is an action scene. I know that seems really like a good positive, and because the artist actually is very good with his action. And there's always, because of all the unique heroes and all their unique quirks and everything, it always lends itself to making for very dynamic action sequences. That is something that My Hero Academia has always done well in spades. But, with a hard but, because you're going to need a pillow for it, they don't always lead to the best way to put it is, they don't always lead to pretty much the most character-driven stories. That is like the biggest negative I can say. It's that there's not as much character within this as others. There's not as much forwarding of stories in certain areas. Though this does, to kind of talk about this, it deals mostly with Deku trying to protect Kota from this villain, who actually was the villain who ended up killing Kota's parents. And that's the reason why Kota is technically an orphan. And Deku trying to protect Kota, not just because he wants to protect Kota from, just a guy, because he's Kota, trying to save his heart, but more just because Deku's a good guy. And only that, but it's also Deku just completely going all out with his, with the quirk, of course. There's the, one for all. And that's fantastic. That's actually really good character bits a little bit there, but it's not as deep as you would with, like learning more about the All for One power, or learning about some of the other stuff dealing with All Might's past, and also learning about some of the mythos behind everything. That's one of the great parts that 6, 7, and 8 I think did really well, is that they built up more of a mythos within this world that is, My Hero Academia. Here, it's not that that's a bad thing, because I will give them that much, because we have had 3 real volumes that has been a major focus, although to a lesser extent, a good chunk of 6 and 7 were just fighting Stain. But still, there was a mythos being built, and, it takes a bit of a back seat. But saying it's a negative, though, is kind of being almost half true that's a negative. It's a truth in the fact that if you're not as big into, action and as much into, the drama of that, you're not going to enjoy this as much. But it's still compelling. You get to see how the villains look at Bakugo, and you get to learn part of their motives, and also you get to see truly villainous people. Like, you've already seen that with I can't remember his name. The guy with the hands is the best way to remember. You've seen that a bit with him, but you get to see another set who are just as ruthless as him, and in fact maybe even more so. quirks, first off, I do like the fact that all their designs are very grotesque. Like, that is something that seems kind of on the nose, like, oh, they're, of course they're villains. Their quirks are kind of weird and gross. But on top of that, they seem to almost revel in it. They're happy with how their quirks are. They wouldn't know what a life would be without it. It's building to something else, and that's what I enjoy. I like the fact that this does actually give into the idea. It's like, okay, well, just because I have a gross quirk doesn't mean I have to be a grotesque people. And it's like, and here's people who are fine with that idea. And it's actually kind of enlightening to see people who are just willing to be villains or be not even just villains because they don't see themselves even as villains. They see themselves as just, lack of a better way to put it, Avengers. Avengers of whatever wrong they feel is done. And it's very interesting. I actually enjoyed the hell out of it. Sure, again, it's mostly just action, but again, it's gorgeous. You get to see I'm going to pronounce his name incorrectly because I'm stupid. Toriyami, I believe is how it's pronounced. Because I want to say there's a K, though, somewhere in there. But you get to see Toriyami's shadow form actually truly get out of control. It's something he's kind of been hinting at throughout the entire, since he got introduced at the UA. But they actually show it off, and it's legitimately like, holy shit, this is not good. And on top of everything, you get to see, Deku having to go all out, and sometimes him going all out, he gets to truly see what happens whenever you're faced with a situation that you don't know how to conquer. And how does he do it? He figures out another way to conquer it. It's one of the reasons why I love Deku. I can't help it. I love this runt. He's just the perfect amount of blissful, like, hope, and everything is gonna be alright if we do this. I can't help it. I love the guy that way. It's hard to get mad at him because of this. It's a blissful, ignorance just because he knows no better. He's seen, the best in people, and he hasn't truly seen the true worst. And that, I think, is going to be very interesting to finally see. That's why I love this. If you can say one thing very positive about this that's maybe more underplayed, is that this sets up a lot of seeds for the future. And again, also can technically be used as a bit of a negative in the fact that they're not doing it now. But to be fair, it's volume 9. It's not even hit the 10th volume, which I have read. I will let you know I'm technically up to 12, though I'm going to read back over 10 and 11 again. Because they're so damn good. I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But I do like the fact that, it's like already in the 9th volume, we're still getting seeds of more stuff. But again, we're getting payoffs for certain things. Like we're seeing Deku gain more control of the powers. We're seeing actually Toriyami's his transformation of his shadow form taking over him. I mean, you also get to see the actual true villainy that is of this world. You don't just see villains who are just, I will beat you, super person. You defeats me. You get to see people who are criminals because they have powers, and because of that they see themselves not just as above the law, but also a law in and of themselves, and they willingly will take people's lives and do whatever they want with them. It's stuff like that that's actually, I don't know, it's really compelling. That's one of the unique things about My Hero Academia. We get to see villains be truly villainous, but in the same instance, you get to see heroes who are truly heroic. It's something that the modern comics scene for American comics doesn't 100% get, and it's something I wish they would begin to get. But, that's just a bit of a personal issue I've had with comics lately. Not only with their, entire idea of having more of a message over actually, showing that message. Like, haha, we're going to have people who are worried about, others' feelings, but they kind of aren't. And it leads to a muddled message, which is the biggest problem. They constantly do this. I will promise you, I'm going to try and eventually get into it more, especially once we keep getting more and more into My Hero Academia. But I'd rather talk about this. If you want more fun with My Hero Academia, enjoy the hell out of it. It is a giant brawl, so because of that, there isn't a lot of character bits, except for a bit with Bakugo at the end. Gonna get into that in the next one. And on top of that, you do get to see a little bit more with actual villains and all that. Sorry, amp alert going off. So yeah, I can't say enough positives about it. Like I said, the biggest negative is technically it's a big brawl. So because of that, the book is it's a very quick read on both the good and bad. But because of that, I think that helps to kind of soften the blow of the fact that, like, the 8th one, really, there wasn't a lot of action going on in it. And it's like, oh, let's go a little bit more. It's like, aha, I got some. Yeah. And it's fun. That is the best thing. Is like, it still has its own fun with, obviously, very, like, terrible characters in terms of, like, the villains. Like, they're terrible, but you love to hate them at the same time. So that's all I gotta say. My Hero Academia Volume 9 is actually just quietly one of the better ones that there has been. It's not the most memorable. I think there might be a few here in a moment that will actually be the most memorable I've had in recent times. But compared to the worst one, which I think was 4, even then 4 wasn't bad. It was very run-of-the-mill of most manga. And what can I say? My Hero Academia is always fantastic. If you don't love it, I want to know. I want to hear what you have against it. Not that I'm saying it's like you're wrong for that opinion. How dare you have that opinion? I just want to hear, because most everybody here, they have a good opinion of it. Some may have differing opinions on the anime, which I will get into eventually. I need to watch season 2 100% to give a good word. I've only watched 13 episodes, thankfully, thanks to season 1 being short. But we'll get into that later. So, till then, if I turn around, go check this out. If you've loved it, you're going to enjoy the hell out of this still. It's fun. And also you get to see Deku really get pushed to his limits further than I think we've actually seen. And in a good way. I can't help it. I loved it, and also it's purple. So if you like purple, hey, it's another thing to be a little bit of a different color and everything, because most everything's white. But hey, I will talk with y'all about something a little bit different here. And here I just need to get into it. So until then, I'll see you all there. So bye-bye, everybody.